Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my Tarkov Wishlist series that I'm doing. So last week's videos we covered some animations that I think would be cool to add to the game or work upon, and then the other episode was like the skill system and how they can relate the skill system to the PMC, and how the world of Escape from Tarkov perceives the PMC. So in today's video I kind of want to cover the aspect of the hideout, as there's so much opportunity to do so many cool things with it. So that's what I'll cover in today's video, is the hideout, some things that they could work upon or add just like in all the other ones. So yeah guys, without further ado, let's hop into the game. All right guys, we are in the hideout in Escape from Tarkov. Now as you can tell, I moved my little face cam thing down kind of out of the way. I noticed when I was editing last week's videos that it could kind of block some of the stuff I was talking about, so I figured I'd make it a little bit smaller, move it down in the corner, so hopefully that helps. Now the stations and the things that they have in the hideout to begin with are pretty cool, in my opinion. I think that they've done a really good job with the hideout as far as giving us, the players, an opportunity to find different, or come up on these different items that you otherwise would have to buy from the flea market or find in raid. Excuse me, sorry, I had to drink a good old coffee. Now there's a couple things that have kind of stuck out as to why haven't they added it, and one of them is a way to let me turn this on so maybe this gets a little bit brighter. I haven't turned my illumination, I haven't upgraded it yet. I was going to do that today when I play. But what I was gonna say is they have all these different things, all these different stations where you can craft meds, right? You can craft food and rations. You can craft ammo and random little like barter goods, electronic barter goods. You can craft some like miscellaneous items at the lavatory, so they have that part pretty well covered. I think the one aspect of the game that they haven't covered yet is gear. So backpacks, helmets, rigs, vests, armor, all that kind of stuff. And they kind of have the hideout space as it is right now kind of full. I mean, they could fit one maybe here, and put a little bench here, and that's where you can create and craft your different armor types and all that kind of stuff. So that's one thing that kind of has been messing around in my head a little bit, bouncing around as I'm thinking about it. And I think it would be cool if you started off on level 1, and maybe it was like a few of those cloth pieces, right? So like the Cordura and the this stuff, right? The Aramid, and it costed a couple of those, and maybe like some other random barter goods, right, to get it up and running. Once it's up and running, your first level, your first tier of that bench would be your basic level 2 and 3 armor. So the penis helmet, the famous penis helmet, maybe like some class 3 armors, some very basic vests, and maybe like, I don't know, I mean, you could throw in like a P.A.K.A. if you wanted, or the I don't know the name of it, but the armor that's like 2 P.A.K.A.s put together. And then you could put maybe like a press armor, the Zuck press armor, because that's like a really good class 3 armor, maybe the Karasa. And that gives the player the ability to go, okay, within the first few hours of this wipe, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna farm this stuff, and I'm gonna level up my my crafting bench, whatever Battlestate Games wants to call it, for lack of a better term, maybe like the armor bench or the clothing bench. And now I can start crafting these armors and this gear that's better than the stuff that I can buy from Ragman level 1. And so now you're at level 1 of this bench. You're starting to craft the level 3 armors, the basic stuff. You hit level 2, and then maybe it goes up to like class 4, and maybe some lower level class 5. So like the new armor they added from Prapper, and maybe, I don't know, like one of the Gen 4 armors. And then you can they can throw in like some TC helmets that are class 4, maybe some better headphones, and that's at level 2. And maybe you need like Ragman level 2 as a requirement to unlock it, to get that next level up in the workbench. Sorry, not in the workbench, in the in this imaginary bench we're talking about here. And then class 3 could be kind of like the end game, where you're getting class 5 and class 6 armor crafts, you're getting Alton crafts, and whatever this may be. And a lot, I might get a lot of hate for this, because what all this would do really is you hit level 3, you start crafting Altons and slicks, maybe, if that's one of the options, and you're just throwing them on the flea market, right? And now you're giving that gear to the whole other player base of the game, which creates this influx of super geared players and not enough lower geared players to balance everything out, right? So to kind of touch home on something that Clayne talked about in his stream today when I was watching, is having the ability to have 2 ways to craft an item, one being found in raid and one being not. So you can spend more resources and more time to craft something for that found in raid status, or you can spend less resources and less time to craft something that's not found in raid, that has that found in raid tag. And I think this is a really good feature to implement. I think that it could do a lot of good things for the community. So shout out to Clayne for coming up with that idea. But it could be used very well with this crafting bench, because you could have players that maybe they don't want to craft something to throw it on the flea market. Maybe they want to craft something to use it, right? So maybe they're crafting like a fast MT and a slick armor, or a fast MT and a Gen 4 armor, but they want to use that, and then in the raid, the next raid they play, once it's ready to go. So they could spend less resources and less time crafting those items, get them in their stash faster, and just throw them on and use them. And then for the people that do want to just flip this stuff and put it right on the flea market as soon as it's done, they're going to have to spend the money on the extra resources and wait a little bit longer for those crafts to be completed in order to put that on the flea market. Sorry, excuse me. Or you use it as a quest item turn in, if it applies. So that's one kind of idea I had, is maybe throwing right here or in another empty space a like a gear kit, clothing crafting table. I think that could be pretty cool. Another thing that I think would be cool if they added is individual smaller little sections of the hideout that might be installed with the current ones that help with your skill leveling. So before last wipe, when they reworked the endurance and the strength skill system, or those 2 skills in the skill system, it was really hard to level strength. I mean, for me, at least, me and my buddies that I play with, like, we're not leaving a raid full of other PMC's gear. Like, we're leaving the raid with the scrounged up materials we found and the quest item that we're going in for. Like, we're not those heavy PMC players. And so we weren't leveling our strength nearly as much as, someone like Landmark, who would go in and kill every PMC on shoreline and get out 100 kilograms, And so we were both trying to, me and my buddy, we were both trying to figure out a way to make it a little bit easier for us, the players, to level up our PMC skills. And they reworked this system since then, and it's a little bit easier to level up those skills, the harder to level skills. But I think what could be kind of cool is, as you add more to like rest space, for example, maybe like a little bench pops in, like a lifting bench pops in, and now you can go in there, right? And maybe you click on here, and it's kind of like, let's use the med station, for example. It kind of looks like this, right? There's a menu within it when you click on the rest space, and it just says, like, it shows the workbench, or the bench press, sorry. And then next to it says like use or whatever, and it's a button. You click that, and it doesn't really have to show an animation or anything like that, but maybe it's like a 20 to 30 second little thing where you have to wait, and now your PMC strength is leveled. It doesn't even have to be a crazy amount, even if it's like 1 or 2 skill points. And if they wanted to help the players level up even more, they could give a specific strength buff or boost to that player's next raid to level it up a little bit faster. So that's something they could add. I mean, you could do that with so many other things, right? Like maybe once nutrition unit and water collector get to a certain level, or it could only just be nutrition unit, right? Get to a certain level, you have an option to like do something within that to boost your metabolism skill for the next raid and give you a little buff during your next raid, right? There are so many things. I mean, they have the library and the it's not the heating unit, but the other, let me see here, the library and the air filtering unit, right? These two will give you buffs to your physical skills and your, I'm not sure what the other ones are. The library gives you, is it mental? I'm not 100% sure, so let me know down in the comments what it is, because I can't remember. But those give you like an overall buff to like a skill system set. So your physical skills and then your mental skills or passive, whatever they're called. So if they were to add like upgrades that come along with leveling up these stations, right? Your rest space, your nutrition unit, that can help your PMC level up those skills a little bit easier, maybe a little bit faster. It could be really cool, right? I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for that in all of these, or not in all of them, but some of them, right? I mean, like right now, we don't really have too much of a like skill system to go off of. But if we were to just go in here really quick and look at these skills, right? Just for an example, like health, you could tie in health somehow. I mean, this one isn't really like health like you would think it is. It's kind of implemented weird. Maybe perception can level up every time something happens. Maybe every time you craft something and sell it, or craft something and use it in the raid, right? Like they could tie in the skill system to the hideout in very unique ways to make the player feel more engaged with how their PMC is leveling, not just, you know, your level, but your actual character's ability to do these things. And I think it'd be really cool. Like maybe let's go back in the hideout real quick, right? Maybe there's a level 2 shooting range and it's a little bit better, right? We'll go in here really quick, right? Obviously I don't have it constructed because I need illumination level 2, but the shooting range is placed right here. Maybe there's a level 2 where it's a little bit nicer, maybe it's a little bit bigger, whatever it may be, and you have the option to run like a drill, right? And they could implement this into the game as an actual mini game, or they could leave it as is and just have it be like a waiting thing. But you could click that, and then after, I don't know, 20-30 seconds, or if it's actually a mini game, go in and play it, you get like a buff to aim drills and recoil control and whatever gun you used. So let's say that it's a mini game, right? Let's say that the task or this purpose of the mini game is to go in and you have to shoot each target with a headshot under so many seconds, right? That's the mini game. And if you pass it and if you beat that, then your recoil control skill, your aim drill skill, and whatever subset of weapon you used, right? Let's say you use an M4A1, so now your assault rifle skill will all have a buff for the next raid you go in, right? So it's kind of like the purpose or the concept of like warming up before you were to go out into a raid, right? You go in, you shoot a couple rounds, you make sure you're feeling good. I think it'd be really cool to see that. I think it's a way to tie the hideout to the skill system a little bit more closely and involve the players in their leveling of skills of their PMC to the other aspects of the game. And obviously, guys, this is an open discussion, right? This isn't me telling you what I want from the game and this is all I want. These are just ideas that come into my head. I jot them down for these videos. So let me know down in the comments below, right? Let's have a discussion. What do you think? You know, do you agree? All right, cool. Tell me why you agree. Do you disagree? All right, let me know why you disagree, right? Is it a bad idea because it's going to break the game? Is it a bad idea because the casual player base won't like it? You know, let's talk about it. Let's talk about these things that I'm talking about in these videos, right? The animations I talked about in Tuesday's video, the skill system rework, or not rework, but the things they could do to the skill system to make it more fun on Thursday's video. And then in this video, right? Let's talk about them in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I think it'd be really cool. So two more things that I would like to add here. So one is, I heard this from Lucas from TRex Arms. So if you don't know who TRex Arm is, they're a like company that's involved in the firearm industry. They make plate carriers, they sell armor, they make holsters, they make war belts, you know, all this kind of stuff. They sell all these different attachments for your weapons, and their social media is based off of knowledge, right? So you go to their YouTube video, you learn about this, or maybe they do some shooting drills or this or that. So I follow them pretty closely. I like their content. I think it's really well made, and what they're doing with the company is great. And the CEO, Lucas, he was streaming this game the other day, And he was saying that it would be really cool if you could spray paint your guns, and maybe there's like a bench in the hideout that allows you to do that. And I really liked that idea, right? Because it just adds to another level of personalization. So we have the ability to change our face now. We have the ability to change our voice. We have the ability to change our clothes, but we have nothing to do with our kit. We have nothing to do with changing the look of our helmet, our rig, any of that stuff, right? Our gun itself, besides just the basic attachments that you can throw on it. So I think being able to spray paint your guns would be really sick. And I think if you could spray paint your kit, that'd be even cooler, which isn't really commonly done. But imagine having the ability to spray paint your 3M armor black or green. And now when you're doing that quest for Peacekeeper, where you have to, be wearing 3M armor, or not, sorry, 3M, UN armor to kill scavs. And now you're not sticking out as like a sore thumb in this forest with a blue bright helmet and blue vest, right? Now you can spray paint it. So I think it'd be pretty cool. So to take on what Lucas said, right? Imagine if there was a bench here, and well, this is Intelligence Center, so maybe it's over here, right? Maybe it's over here or over here by lavatory, kind of next to the shooting range, as it would kind of make sense. And it's just a bench, just a plain old bench. It could look literally like this workbench right here, just a plain old table with a box. And they add spray paint and spray cans to the game, to the loot pool. Now you can find the spray paint, and they're different colors. Maybe you have tan, you have dark brown, you have green, you have gray, you have black, all these different colors that you could choose from. And you can add those, like you create the bench, right? And it's a spray painting bench or whatever you want to call it. And you can take your gun, you put the gun in your inventory, right, on your person. You enter, or you could enter, or you could just walk up to it, and it lays it down on the table. And then you pick the color of spray paint you want, and you apply it to the gun. And then, it paints it whatever color, and then you're good to go. And maybe there's different levels. So maybe at like level 1, it's just basic painting where you can paint a full solid color. And maybe you can only do like attachments. And then level 2 is like you can spray paint your whole gun now. And maybe if you add like some Cordura or like a scav vest to the painting process, maybe get a little design in there, right? Maybe get a little like camo looking design. And then level 3, maybe it gives you the ability to spray paint your armor and the rest of your kit. So that's something that Lucas from TRex Arms touched on that I really liked, because I think it's a really good idea. It adds to the personalization of the game. And also if you're playing in teams, right? And you could load in and be like, hey, just to let you know, I'm in an all green kit. My gun's green, my armor's green, my helmet's green, everything's green. Now that person might be able to dictate you a little bit away from the enemies, right? They might be able to tell that you're you and that's the enemy, compared to if you're just wearing the same old, tan airframe with a tan kilo armor and a black rock, okay, and maybe a tri-zip. Well, how many other players in the game, especially late wipe, are running that kit? So it's one of those things where if you could add a little bit more personalization, it could help a lot with the game and being able to identify players versus enemies. Oh, coffee's too good today, guys. All right. Now, one last thing that I want to add that I think could be very beneficial for the hideout is the ability to zero your weapon. Now, if you haven't been around the game for a while, you might not know this, but there is an issue currently with the VSS and Val. So depending on what sight you use and ammo you use, the 0 in the corner is not your 0. And it's relevant to some other guns in the game as well, where you could be aiming at a scav's head. And how it works is each scope in the game is zeroed to a specific round. So and it varies, right? But let's say you're using an EOTech on a Val using SPP. Now, if that EOTech wasn't zeroed with the SPP round, wherever your dots lined up is not where your bullet's going to hit. It's either going to go up or down. And so I think if they were to implement a little section in the shooting range where you could walk up and maybe there's like a menu that pops up, you click on it and it says 0 weapon, and then it drops you in and you load like a chamber into the round and just shoot at one of the targets. And all you have to do is shoot once, right? Again, in reality, you would shoot, I don't know, for 30 minutes to get a good 0. But in this game, right, we're not going to be wanting to sit here shooting round after round after round to get a 0, right? If you were to just go in and say, hey, I'm using this optic with this round, 0 it. And now it's 0'd. And they could do it in a couple different ways, right? Because if you had to do that every time, it would get very annoying, because you would have to be like, all right, now I'm running, 855A1 with a Voodoo. All right, now let me go in, let me 0 it. Or maybe I'm running a PK06 with, I don't know, APSX. And I have to go in and 0 it. So they could do it in a couple different ways, right? Maybe instead of having like a thing that plays in the like an actual animation that plays in the shooting range, maybe you just go in there and you say, here's my optic, here's my round, boom, and you just drag it over, right? And you can do it with any optic, any round, and then it remembers it, so you can constantly just throw an optic on your gun, throw the rounds in, and the game remembers that you 0'd that round with that gun, or with that optic, sorry. Another simpler way would be if they were to just put an ammo slot. I think Veritas touched on this, but if they were to put an ammo slot in the optic, and then you just put the ammo you're using in that slot, and now that optic is 0 for that round. Sorry, excuse me. So that's another option too, where it wouldn't really have to do anything with the hideout. But if they wanted to make it a little bit more immersive and realistic, they could have a little system within the shooting range where maybe you say, here's the round, here's the optic, and your character goes in and shoots a couple times, and now your gun's 0 to that round. And they could add some sort of feature where it remembers it, so it's not so like time consuming and frustrating. So that's kind of the last thing I wanted to cover in today's video, guys, about the hideout and some things that I think could be implemented really well. It can help with the game, help it, strive even more than it already is, and just make it a more fun experience for the players, right? So yeah, that kind of wraps it up. Let's head out to the full cam to wrap up today's video. All right, guys, that'll wrap up today's video covering the hideout, my wish list for it, things that I think they could add to the game to make it a little bit more immersive, fun for the players, stuff like that. Guys, I stream live every day on Twitch. The link for that will be down in the description below. I've been playing a lot of this game lately because of the wipe. So if you guys want to check that out, I'd greatly appreciate it. Stop by, say hi, give me a follow. I'd greatly appreciate it. We're almost to 50 followers on Twitch over there. I also post my stream highlights on TikTok, so if you guys want to go over there and check out the content and what I've been up to during my stream, I'll leave that linked below as well. Hopefully the new camera angle down in the corner helped you guys kind of see the actual screen a little bit better. So let me know down in the comments if that helped. And then also, guys, leave a comment down below and give me some of your thoughts, right? Is this something that you guys want to see added? These things that I've talked about, or is this stuff that you don't feel like is going to help the game at all and hurt it? Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. But that is it for me, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. Look out for Thursday's video covering open world concepts and kind of the vision that I can see the game going, or maybe it could go to really make the game a different experience. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell, as all that stuff will greatly help the channel grow, and I'd appreciate it very much. And that's it for me. Thanks for tuning in, watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.